If you're someone who has watched many of these episodes, could I invite you today to forward this episode to someone who you think might need to hear it? And if you are receiving this episode from someone else, I hope the intent is clear, and I'd invite you to watch to the end to find out why they sent it to you. Stay tuned. Hello, friends. Pastor Tim Westermeyer here, Senior Pastor of St. Philip the Deacon in the western suburbs of Minneapolis. Good to be with you as always. I'm going to guess many of you have seen me and watched this podcast before. There may be some of you this week who are seeing it for the first time and wondering, why the heck did someone forward this to me? If that's you, then I'd encourage you just to stick around to the end to find out, and hopefully all will become clear. On this podcast, though, I'm a pastor. We talk about all kinds of things. We talk about topical issues. We talk about theological issues. Sometimes it's personal things going on in my life. Sometimes it's favorite authors, maybe reactions to movies, things like that. And by the way, if you're interested in seeing some of those, you can always go back into the back catalog. I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know if we can put a card up for that, but you can find all the past episodes either at YouTube or YouTube, it turns out. Today, though, I've been struck in the past week, and actually as I look ahead over the next few days, by my life as a pastor, which may sound obvious, but it is true. And I've been thinking about it because of the kinds of conversations I've been having this week, particularly. These happen all the time in my life, but for some reason they've been compressed in the last maybe week or so. And they've included the range of life experiences. So, for example, this coming Sunday, I will do a baptism for, I think it's 3 or 4 children at our last service. Last week, I talked to a grown family about being baptized as adults. I've had conversations this week with someone struggling with marriage issues. We had a conversation with one of our partners here at St. Philip the Deacon about how we can continue to be better as a leading community church at addressing issues of mental health and wellness. I met with a grandma who's kind of thinking about the life of faith for her grandchildren. I'm doing a wedding in a couple of days, and a couple days ago I did a burial at Fort Snelling. And it struck me, not for the first time, that part of what the church is all about is addressing moments along life's way from birth to death, right? From baptism to grandchildren, to mental health, to marriage issues, to life and death, to burial, all of that. And I guess I'm reminded in a particular way because of that, because of the comprehensiveness of what the church is all about, of how this is my own view as a pastor, of course, we are wired for relationship with God and relationship with one another as we walk through those various chapters of life. And so today, somewhat unusually actually, I'd like to offer an invitation for those of you, and by the way, again, I'm assuming here maybe this has been forwarded to you by someone who cares about you, who loves you, and who wants you to hear some of these words. If that's the case, please don't take offense by it, either by their action or by what I'm saying. I am certainly not arm twisting here. I'm sure they aren't either. Famous theologian once said, the church only proposes, it never imposes. And so this is a proposal. It's an invitation. But it turns out that here at St. Philip the Deacon, we have a opportunity for people to learn about the mission and ministry of this congregation coming up in early September. We're taping this on August 3rd, so that's about a month away. I believe that's a Thursday, so September 7th, 7 o'clock p.m. There's no obligation if you come, but it's a great opportunity to learn something more about who we are as a congregation, how we are in the world. You'll meet a few other people who are also exploring what it might look like to be part of this congregation. And if you'd like to register for that, you can do that at spdlc.org/register. And I want to be very clear about this. I do think that there's something here for you. Again, I think we're wired to be in communion with one another. I think we're wired to be in communion with God. And so I think at a place like St. Philip the Deacon, you will find things like, not limited to this, but things like meaning and significance and purpose and community. And so if that interests you, I'd invite you to join us for that conversation. I also want to be very clear about something else. I've just said that you can find something here, and I believe that's true. But I also want to say this very clearly. The church, the body of Christ, the communion of saints, needs you. It needs your particular gifts and skills and abilities. It needs all of you as you are to help make us more fully what God has made us to be. So it's a two-way street. And so the invitation again for you, whoever you are watching this, is to join us for that, to consider joining St. Philip the Deacon or becoming part of our mission ministry. Or if that is impossible for you because of constraints of distance or because you're part of another tradition or whatever, can I encourage you, find another church that makes sense for you. And the same thing will also be true there. You will find at that place meaning and significance and purpose and community, and you will also discover that that congregation needs you. So I hope you will take that invitation to heart. As always, I'm grateful for all of you, whoever you are, wherever this finds you, for being part of this conversation, this ongoing conversation. And until next time, as always, be well, stay in touch, and God bless.